Hey guys, thank you for stopping by my channel today. I decided that for today's video, it was really important that I stop talking about myself because the video that I posted last week about the fun, quirky facts about myself and my personality, in that video, that was all I did, was I talked about myself. So I decided that today we were going to get back to the beauty products and I'm super excited about it. By the way, let me just say, the response that I got from last week's video was incredible. All of the comments that you left me in the comment section about how you apparently are as equally crazy as I am was very validating for me. That and it completely cracked me up. So thank you so much for taking the time to let me get to know you guys a little bit, and always feel free to do that because I really do enjoy that. In today's video, I am going to be hopping on the bandwagon of the series that's entitled YouTube Made Me Buy It. Basically, I watch YouTube videos with a pen and paper in hand and I create a shopping list. And it actually gets kind of dangerous sometimes because I can actually hear like my bank account whispering in my ear, Gina, put the pen down. And I know, and I can hear that voice as I'm writing a list of 25 items that I now need to go buy, but I ignore it and I don't pay any attention. And so I have a collection of fabulous items in front of me that were the fault of some other YouTube creators, and that is why I now own them. So if you want to find out what YouTube made me buy, then let's get started. I'm gonna start with the quirkiest one that comes from Nikki Tutorials. She brought up the ever so popular face primer that comes from the men's department of the drugstore. It is the Nivea Men Post Shave Balm. I got the one for sensitive skin, but you can use either. The reason she determined that this would be a really great primer for us foundation appliers is because it's largely composed of glycerin, which winds up being a fabulous base. I think this works for a variety of skin types, maybe not 100% everybody, but I think this is a pretty universal primer. I love how it applies and goes on so smoothly and then just gets ever so tacky, which lets you know that it is 100% blended in and winds up creating actually a really good base for your foundation. And so despite my semi-oily combination skin, I find that this primer works really, really well and it's super cheap. My favorite foundation of life comes from Marlena at Makeup Geek. She mentioned how she had purchased the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Coverage Face Foundation. I forget, it's got like 12 different words in its title, but it's basically the Full Coverage Remarkable Marc Jacobs Foundation. I love this foundation. First of all, the color selection is amazing, but what Marlena at Makeup Geek wound up demonstrating was that you can apply the barest little amount. It spreads thinly and evenly over your skin, yet provides the most amazing coverage. This is thin layer, maximum coverage, feels great, skin is happy, can't go wrong, except it's really expensive. So we're not gonna talk about that. But the bottle's pretty big, and so it lasts you a really long time because you're barely using anything. So maybe we can convince ourselves that it's kind of worth the price. Emily Noel 83 completely introduced me to Sonia Kashuk. That is the line that is carried, I think, exclusively at Target. And I have to say, whenever I would have been in Target, you know, prior and in years past, I just completely walked past the Sonia Kashuk display because I didn't know anything about it. And Emily had done a number of videos where she had mentioned Sonia Kashuk. And one of the gems that made my top drugstore products list that I posted a couple months ago is the Ion Neutral Matte Palette. I think this eyeshadow palette is a really good quality for a really great price. I do believe it's $20, so it's still less than some of the higher end palettes that you could get at like Sephora or Ulta. I think this is the most amazing matte like base palette for you. If you add just a couple of individual shimmer or glitter or frost shadows, you can create a multitude of looks. And so I think this is really good pigment, good price, good people, good person. 3 P's: pigment, price, person. Sonia Kashuk. Also coming out of the drugstore are a couple of products from Physicians Formula that I actually learned about from 2 different YouTube creators. Rosita Applebaum introduced me to the Physicians Formula Warm Nude Highlighter, like kind of quad palette almost. So it's a series of rows of slightly varying shades of highlight, and you can do a variety of different things with this. There are some darker shades on one edge, and then there are some lighter shades on the other edge, and you can use it for your eyes, you can use it as a highlighter. They say you can use it for contouring. I personally think it's a little bit too shimmery for contouring, but hey, anything goes if it works for you and you like it. What I really love about this particular product is that the lighter side gives you the most amazing drugstore highlighter. Physicians Formula, a little bit on the higher end of price when it comes to drugstore, but honestly, there's a reason for that, because this highlighter is major without looking, you know, too chalky or too glittery. There are definitely not specks of glitter in this. Michelle over at Ready Set Glamour introduced me to the Physicians Formula bronzers, and I've mentioned these and used these in a number of different videos. This is a product that has a million of the letter B in it. It's the Glow Boosting Beauty Balm BB Bronzer. Okay, so this happens to be the guy with the little pink circle in the center, which does absolutely nothing. It just looks really cute and it makes me smile when I look at it. But this bronzer is just really subtle, really workable, really creamy, blends in so nicely. This actually is the lighter shade, and so I think it's called light to medium. You can get a slightly darker shade, medium to dark, just depending on your skin tone. And it's kind of just flawless. You can put it on blindfolded. I'm not sure why you would do that, but you could actually put it on blindfolded and you couldn't make a mistake because it is that just user friendly. Kristen Game introduced me to the Rockateur blush by Benefit. I don't know how I didn't have this in my collection prior to her talking about it. She had posted a video all about blushes, and this was one of the ones that she mentioned. So this is just a very kind of pale, neutral, rosy mauve shade with just a hint of a golden shimmer to it. And so it really does complement many, many skin tones. Plus it has an interesting smell. It's almost like a little floral smell, so you might either love it or hate it, quite honestly. I'm not sure why the blush has an odor, but you can see right here, it doesn't really, although it has pigment, it doesn't really just kind of overwhelm you. So it's just really user friendly, especially when you've got like a darker eye going on or heavy eye makeup or a darker lip. This kind of is like a no-fail sort of blush. Plus, you know that I love the Hoola bronzer, and so if this is like the cousin of the Hoola bronzer, I was like, how could you go wrong? Because Hoola bronzer is like the primo ever. Marnie at Miss Gold Girl actually made me buy two things, also by Physicians Formula. She introduced me to their shadow quads, and this is the one in Classic Nudes, the matte collection quad eyeshadow, Classic Nudes. This is amazing. Not only is the pigment fabulous and they're really creamy and they're easy to blend, but I think this is like, I agree with her actually, that this is like the most basic palette that you can have to create a variety of eye looks. Plus, it's really small and compact, and so it's fabulous for travel. And again, if you take this palette, for example, and then you take like a shimmer or two individual shades, you are just good to go because you can then do anything. I mean, I love it. It's got a great brow bone highlighter, great crease color, a deepener for the crease. I mean, okay, you cannot go wrong. Physicians Formula. Again, let me just say that actually I was introduced to Physicians Formula by YouTube. I had an impression that it was for old people. I don't know why. I don't even know where that came from, but I always completely bypass Physicians Formula, and I'm so happy that YouTube brought Physicians Formula into my life. Marnie at Miss Gold Girl also introduced me to the Clinique Cheek Pops. I had met the Cheek Pops prior, and I didn't have a very good first impression. I think it really was related to the individual color that I had selected. This one, by the way, right now is Peach Pop, which I'm living for, especially this summer. These are super blendable and buildable colors, which And pigmented apparently, because here that bad boy is, and that guy is like a major pigment right there. They're kind of like a satin finish. I was gonna say like a sheen. It's like a satin sort of sheen to them. They come in a variety of shades. Super easy to use, which apparently is what I'm looking for. If you are difficult to use, then you do not remain a part of my life, because I really don't have time for you, quite frankly. Plus, you would piss me off, and I don't need to be grumpy when I'm doing my makeup in the morning, because doing my makeup in the morning is like my zen. That is like my favorite time of the day, when I'm getting ready in the morning. I'm very calm, and I don't need you to piss me off if you're one of my beauty products. Kathleen Lights introduced me to 2 products as well. The first one, extremely hard to get, but now a little bit easier to get now that the momentum that she created around this product has died down a little bit. It's by RCMA. It's the original no color loose powder, kind of a dupe for the Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder, but both of them in general are amazing under eye setters. You can use this to bake under your eye, you can use this to bake your contour. Just kind of really a surprise hidden gem. I never in a million years would have come across it had she not mentioned it and brought it up. It recently made one of my favorites videos, and I mean, honestly, the price comparison to the Laura Mercier, although I do think it is fabulous as well. If you are on a budget, this is your buddy. This is your budget buddy right here. Kathleen Lights also introduced me to the blush by NARS in Madly. I don't even know if I ever saw it in the store prior to her mentioning it. And if I did, I would have completely ignored it and turned the other way, because this looks awful in the pan, right? Right, you see what I mean, right? It is the most awesome, universal, subtle blush. It is like my go-to blush. I always travel with it because I know that no matter what's going on, I can apply this blush and be fine. NARS blushes are always super pigmented, and sometimes I have trouble applying different ones because I wind up applying too much. You have to have like a feather brush when you are applying some of the NARS blushes because they are so pigmented. This one, because it's so neutral and light, and although it is pigmented, is way user-friendly, and I have already bought a backup because for a period of time it was pretty hard to find, and I don't know why. Maybe because Kathleen Lights mentioned it. But this bad boy, oh my god, I thought I almost broke it. But this bad boy is one of my BFFs. So now I sound like Physicians Formula with all of the B's. What is that? This bad boy is my BFF? Come on. I am in love with Madly. I am madly in love with Madly. How about that? Jaclyn Hill, by the way, is the queen of making Gina buy shit. So she has convinced me with minimal effort to purchase quite a few items from a variety of places. But what I would like to credit her for right now is for introducing me and the world to Morphe Brushes. Never would have known who they were had it not been for her. Some of my favorites from all of their lines. Actually, they've got a number of different lines at different price points, and I love like all of the brushes within all of the lines. The MB23 is my most favorite blending brush. The E17 is like one of the most amazing outer corner brushes, also a very fine detail crease brush. Love it. I mentioned in a favorites recently that I love the Morphe E46 for applying my under eye concealer. I think the M501 is awesome for dusting away under eye fallout when you're using some dark shadows and you have a shadow that has a lot of powder pickup. The M501 is great for getting rid of that. I love the M438 for applying my under eye setting powder. Oh my god, it just feels so wonderful. It has no prickle. It does not piss me off, which is again one of my goals when it comes to makeup. I also have the G2, which is great for some under eye work. It's also great for contouring. You can use any brush a variety of ways, and the Morphe brushes are affordable but really good quality, and I've owned them now for long enough where they're not falling apart, which is also something that I appreciate when I spend my money on something. So thank you, Jaclyn Hill, for depleting my bank account. Frugalista blog introduced me to an Anastasia product that I would have absolutely ignored had she not talked about it. They are her lip glosses. Lip glosses actually were like never my thing, and she talked about them on more than one occasion and was absolutely right. These lip glosses, they are so comfortable to wear. They're so pigmented. You wouldn't expect that coming from a gloss. This is the color Kristen, which is kind of like a pinky brown. This next one, which is kind of like my neutral everyday, which is actually what I'm wearing right now, is called Undressed. And it's just a really pretty, just kind of a peachy nude, peachy pinky nude. How many times do all of us YouTubers say peachy pink, peachy pink? The last one that I got is Sepia. It is just one of those just kind of wicked, kind of brownie purples. We got the peachy pink and we've got the brownie purple, and this color is stunning on. Never would have considered Anastasia Lip Glosses had Frugalista Blog not mentioned them on her channel and raved about them. And they're the most unique gloss I think I've ever encountered. Not only are they pigmented, they're a little bit creamy, but they give you amazing shine. They don't wear off within 5 minutes, which is what I find with most lip glosses. And I'm really trying to stop myself from going to buy more. So what has YouTube made you buy? I am so curious, and you know what that means. I'm just going to be creating a shopping list based on your comments below, but I definitely want to know what you were compelled to go purchase and spend your hard-earned money on. If you're not one of my subscribers, please do subscribe before you leave, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Thank you.
I mean, you have to have like a feather brush when you apply many of the NARS brush. So this is just like a rosy mauve, a really subtle, pale mauvey. It's not mauvey. What is mauvey? By the way, I love how this looks ever so calm and peaceful and relaxed. And what you can't see is that the entire rest of the room is a chaotic shit show. There is crap everywhere, and except in this little window here, where you can't see, I am hiding in this little bubble of calm, and be happy that you cannot see what's going on behind me. Actually, behind me in this room and in the entire house. I've mentioned that I was unmoving and I'm unpacking, and it's like the never-ending process. By the way, we are also going to ignore this, because this is unpacking and unmoving. Because I'm no longer moving, I'm unmoving. I'm trying to get settled where I am, and this is bend over boxes for like 10 hours a day, and so that's what this hair is about, and we're just not going to talk about it. Thank you very much. It's because it's largely composed. Basically, I sit in front of, you know, the YouTube. I sit in front of the YouTube.